And let's speaking of the Steelers, they're at the Bengals this week, and the line opened up Steelers -13. It's still 13. So who do you like in this game?
So I do like the Steelers. I probably am on them for like one unit because this line's so big. I think they should be able to cover it. This just feels like a get-right game to me. Like the Bengals are so bad. They have so many issues. And their offense, like, yeah, they have some good receivers, but you have Brandon Allen and then a triage of, young veteran running backs and then Giovanni Bernard trying to run the ball on this defense. It's not going to happen. So I don't think the Bengals are going to move the ball all that much. And so I think the Steelers defense is going to be able to hold them to potentially less than 10 points. I mean, Dallas held them to 7. So I think that should be telling. My concern here is the Steelers offense. They are not doing anything right now on the ground. They can't run at all. And James Conner has a quad injury. So we're going to look at another Benny Snell game. And this is an easy run defense. They're not very good, but the Steelers just aren't blocking well. So they're going to have to try to fix that. And then the passing game, they almost exclusively run short passes right now. And I'm assuming Joe Mixon could return was a joke because Zach Taylor has said that every week since like week 6. And every week we keep getting tricked. It's another one of those optimism things. But getting back to the Steelers offense, they just keep settling for these tiny short, like 4 to 6 yard passes. It's kind of like manufacturing a run game, but then they never take any deep shots off of it. And I don't know if that has to do with play calling or if they're not confident that Big Ben can throw the ball downfield consistently and accurately and, with enough velocity anymore to get the job done in that regard. I don't know if it's poor play calling by Tomlin and Randy Fichtner, but they got to try to fix it. And this is their only real chance to do it because the Bengals defense is weak. So I think the Steelers will get right. I do think they have a ton of talent on their team. They just have to fix the coaching aspect of it and fix some of their problems. And I know there are some injuries that they're dealing with, so especially at linebacker, so that's a concern. But if Vince Williams comes off the COVID list, I think they should be just fine, and they should contain the Bengals anyway. So I like the Steelers in this one. I'm not super sold on it, though, because this is a really big line, but I think that they should get right.
Yeah, the Steelers just have such a bad track record of covering these large spreads as road favorites. They've been road favorites of 8 or more 23 times since 1990. Do you want to take a stab at what the record is? So 23 times.
8-15?
4-19.
Oh, my goodness.
It's so bad. I don't know why. They just don't seem to do well in these situations. Now, I think you could be right. Like, this could be a get-right game. The Bengals are absolutely atrocious. They seem to do nothing well. Now, Joe Mixon miraculously comes back, then they can run the ball, I guess. But if not, I don't really see them doing anything at all. They can't block. They can't throw. Well, I mean, they have good receivers, so they can probably take advantage of the Steeler corners. But if they had a good quarterback, but they don't. So they can't throw. They can't block. They can't run. They can't stop the run. They can't stop the pass. They can't get to the quarterback. That's about it. And it's like, how does the team keep this game close? And I mentioned before, when you have these high lines, something weird could happen. So they fumbled the ball 3 times in 3 drives last week. Maybe the opposite happens. Maybe instead of a drop, Deontay Johnson fumbles the ball and it's returned for a touchdown. And suddenly the Bengals are up 7-0 and the Steelers have to score 20 points to cover the spread. Given their offensive struggles, maybe that doesn't happen because they're dropping a lot of passes and they're kind of sputtering around, and maybe they win by 10 points. So I could see that situation happening, especially if they have these injuries. I really want to see what the injury report looks like because it seems like they're very banged up right now. But if they get most of the team back, I think I would consider going with the Steelers, despite that ugly record that I told you about. But if they have a lot of injuries, then I think I'm probably going to just take the points of the Bengals. Either way, I'm almost certainly not going to bet this game.
Yeah, I would only bet this game because it's a standalone on Monday night. And again, I have a tough time resisting those, but I think the injury report's going to matter a ton. And I'm calling Deontay Johnson bricks until he fixes drops issue because it's been ridiculous just watching him just get a ball directly at him. He's wide open and it's just on the ground. And you're like, how did that happen?
It's a lack of focus. It's not talent or anything. He has great talent. I think he's an amazing player. But yeah, he really needs to start focusing. I don't know what's going on with him, but maybe being benched for about a half, maybe that really did something. So we'll see. So anyway, let's go to our survivor picks. So you can see this year I got 2 picks wrong: Colts in week 1, and then Minnesota, I believe, in week 11 against Dallas. So if you notice, Tennessee is not on this list, and Tennessee playing the Lions potentially without Stafford, I think that's an easy pick. There are so many easy picks this week, like so many large favorites. If you go down the list, like Packers, Bills, the Rams, I think the Rams are the best play out of everything. If you have every team available, obviously, I think you would take the Rams. The Steelers, we discussed them. You can even say like the Seahawks, they're an option. The Colts, like there's so many large favorites. This is an easy week. Like you shouldn't have any issues trying to find a team.
Yeah, I agree. And I think I have the Rams available because we were aggressively fading them earlier in the season, which turned out to be wrong. But it works in Survivor if you survived past week 1, which I did not. So yeah, if you have the Rams available, take them for sure. But like you said, Walt, there's just so many good teams to pick this week. So just go with the one you're most confident in that isn't some random underdog, and you should be okay.
Yeah. How crazy is it that the week 1 result is going to prevent the Jaguars from getting Trevor Lawrence? They just had to beat the Colts, and now they're going to get Justin Fields is a great consolation prize, but they're not going to get Trevor Lawrence just because they screwed everyone over at Survivor. I guess it's karma, right?
Yeah, I guess that's what happened. Screw me out of my Survivor entry. You don't get Trevor Lawrence. That's how it works.
Yeah, it's punishment. So a teaser real fast. I was looking at this, while we're discussing some of the later games. An obvious play for a teaser is Patriots. Get them from +2.5 up to 8.5. I'm having issues finding another team now. Someone mentioned in the comments Colts down from 7 to 1. I really wanted 7.5. The Colts are 7.5 down to 1.5, and it seems weird to want 1.5 more than 1. But I think you need to get the key numbers, and the fact that the Colts are not -7.5 kind of gives me some pause there. I think there's going to be some other options that appear later in the week, like with line moves. So I think that could definitely happen. For example, if the Saints move to +2.5, I would love them at +8.5. But right now I just can't find another team to pair with the Patriots.
Yeah, I'm looking through it too, and I don't see any one that stands out. And even one thing I like to do is if you have a team that you're confident in a double-digit point spread game, just betting that down. But the double-digit point spread, I don't know, you could do the Jaguars +20 with the Patriots, but you're not getting many, if any, key numbers because I don't know how far the key numbers stretch past 14. But I would consider Patriots and Jaguars because Jaguars should cover 20 against the Ravens.
Yeah, I want to do a breakdown of that one day, maybe this summer, of the margin, how frequent the margins hit. But yeah, I mean, to me, if the Jaguars cover +14, if they cover +20, they're probably covering +14 anyway. So I don't know about that. So yeah, it's tough. I can't really find a good second option. Speaking of the Jaguars, Andrew says they could get Lawrence if he pulls an Eli Manning. But would Lawrence rather play for Jacksonville than the Jets? I'd rather play for the Jets because you have this marketing opportunity. Joe Namath is still selling stuff on TV, even though he's in his 70s. Even if Trevor Lawrence is half as good as people think he will be, he's going to be selling stuff until he's 70, 80,
Yeah, and I think he doesn't seem like the kind of guy that would pull that, I don't want to play for you type deal. I don't know. He just seems to be ready to go wherever he ends up. Because if he really didn't want to play for the Jets, his better move, as crazy as this sounds, might have been going back to school because he's going to be the number 1 pick no matter what. So he could try to force his hand in a trade, but then all that stuff gets messy. And Joe Douglas might have said he believes in Sam Darnold, but I highly doubt that's true. It's not like he's going to come out and be like, yeah, I don't believe in Sam Darnold anymore, guys, because then that's just going to tank. You could take the rest of your season, but then you'd have no confidence from the players or the coaches in the GM, and that would just be an untenable situation.
I think that's definitely a ploy to get more value in a trade for Darnold. Like there's no way they're not taking Lawrence. But I think he wants the second round pick for Darnold, kind of like the Cardinals got for Josh Rosen, and maybe he'll get it. I mean, Darnold has he has a load of talent, and you could argue that everyone who has left Adam Gase has done better. I mean, look at Ryan Tannehill. If Darnold could play as well as Tannehill, then he can start in the NFL. So anyway, so that is it for this week. Do you have anything to promote?
You can just follow me on Twitter at Jacob Kamenker and follow Sporting News Fantasy at SN_fantasy on Twitter. We got all sorts of fantasy content over at sportingnews.com/fantasy, and I tweet my picks every week. And this week they were actually good, which is good. We had a rough patch in the middle of the season, but we're getting better there. Hopefully we finish strong. And yeah, thank you guys all for watching. Follow me and we can talk some football.
Yeah, once again, please hit subscribe or the like button or comment below. Like all that stuff would be great. Or share this video with someone who likes football but may not know about the channel or the website. That would mean a lot, and it's a great way to help the show. I'm at waltzerfootball.com. We have tons of content as always throughout the week. Updated 2021 NFL mock draft tomorrow morning, which I'm going to work on tonight. Updated picks against the spread throughout the week, and Saturday notes as usual is going to be the most important thing. And then Charlie Campbell is doing some great work with the draft. Updated big board, stock reports, previews for the games coming up. It's going to be bowl season, so it's coming up. The NFL draft season is like 3.5 weeks away, so we're getting there. So anyway, that is it for this week. I'll talk to you next week.
All right. Sounds good. Talk to you then.
All right. Bye.